Good evening, and welcome to the Contraband, where 6 Shakespeare actors play blades in the dark. I'm Ted Bushman, Gamemaster. Apparently, according to my lighting, I am reporting to you directly from the Lost District, because this is really fluorescent right now. I am not in my normal place. And if there's any tech issues, that will also be the reason for that. Anyway, joining me on this tale of mutilated mages, demonic districts, and wayward warriors are Jamie Hansen, Ben Isaacs, Kristin Perkins, Graham Ward, and Carson Wright. Good evening, friends. Remind us all once again who you are and who you play. We have no time for an icebreaker this evening, so be quick about it.
Unbroken Ice. I am Jamie Hansen. He, him, playing Varric Lomond, our currently sliding amongst the muck of whatever it is we stumbled into.
Yeah. Gross stuff.
My name is Ben Isaacs. I use he, they pronouns playing Hix Templeton, the spider of the crew.
My name is Kristin Perkins. I use she, her pronouns playing the girl, the lurk of the crew, lurking about the Lost District.
Hello, I'm Graham Ward, he, him. I am playing tonight the very mysterious, I suppose the mutilated mage himself, Bardia Rathsbane.
Yeah.
Very curious character. Can't wait to see
what
we're gonna make up about him tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I'm Carson Wright, he, him. I'm playing Aldo Basran, our leech, also he, him, and also in a mess of muck and poo. So I'm excited for this. Oh, I'm also in game. I'm also in a mess of muck and poo. Just be clear here.
Method acting.
Yeah, sorry.
I am literally in one right now.
Could describe some of my days.
Certainly.
Yeah, parenthood.
Right.
In this season, our second season of the Contraband, our crew of smugglers, a very rare type I've found in Blades games. People don't often play smugglers, so which I think is very cool. Our crew of smugglers has become connected to a syndicate called the Collective, a high-class gang, very professional, but there's the suspicion of a dark secret at their heart, specifically around the man with many rings and the man with polished shoes. The man with many rings is one of the leaders of the Collective. He's also called the Fox because he wears a fox mask. And the man with polished shoes, we have learned this season, is named Casimir and has been working with the crew and knows many of them by name. In fact, we learned last episode that he currently has Bram, our normal cutter, in his custody. This last couple of sessions, the group has found a very strange, very intense alternative way to perhaps find information about the Collective and about other major questions that they have about themselves and things that they're seeking for. They have, with the help of Bardia Rathsbane, Whisper, headed into the Lost District of Duskfall, a district which 20 years ago had its lightning walls shut down, had a Leviathan oil refinery create a large spill, and so many people were not able to escape and were killed by ghosts in the process, and those who did survive were transformed into very strange things, or many of them were. Anyone who survives in the Lost District has been there a long time and had to do a lot to survive. The crew is seeking a manor that they've been led to in visions that the girl and Aldo have seen, and are seeking the ghost Lyran through a ritual that Bardia is going to lead them to do. So, with that, let me give us more of our credits for today. Our show is brought to you by Ghostlight RPGs, its own high-class crime syndicate, bringing the spirit of live theater to tabletop role-playing games. If our clandestine conspiracies please you, we invite you to follow, subscribe, and to take a look at the Ghostlight RPGs Patreon. A content warning. The Contraband is a crime drama set in a dark and unpleasant city. Episodes will almost certainly contain strong language, brutal violence, and sex. They may also occasionally include human trafficking, implied danger to children, though we will not depict any violence towards children, and this episode uniquely may include particularly gruesome and frightening images. Be advised. So, step off the boat, close your ears to the spectral music, and descend with us into the Contraband. Varric Lomond, you lie on your back on the wooden bar of a well-lit tavern that is melting around you. The solid beam doorway through which you entered is oozing, and you see it falling around Aldo Basran's shoulders as he steps back. There are several men in the room who have all been lifting up weapons towards you, but they are all changing around you. The two golden lanterns that lit this place and lured you in from the cold and wet street are sputtering. The flames themselves are transforming into grayish mud and just bubbling back down into the mess of everything else. You look up at the man who threw you down into the counter. He's slouching into this hulking form. The rifle that he's holding off, like the end of it turns liquid and drips off, and then the rest of it until it finally goes away completely, and he sort of hulks like this strange semi-human form made out of blackish sludge. All of these, most of the people, of the dozen people who were here in the room, they've all sort of faded away and just are collapsing into the house itself, which is closing, all of the windows of it sealing over. You feel a strange echo in this moment. There's this pit in your stomach, this feeling of the world that you thought was familiar closing around you. And for a second, you're unsure exactly what it is, but then you remember the day that you were exiled from your father's house and the feeling of what it was like being in your own home. This sense of everything that was familiar and even welcoming suddenly changing into this foreign, horrid thing. But you don't have very much time for such reminiscences as these sludge monsters are heading towards Aldo, and the bar beneath your back is starting to fade, and you feel yourself getting sucked in. I'm going to start a clock called The House Consumes You. This is an 8-part clock. Let's start. What do you want to do?
Shit. All right. How enveloped is Aldo?
Not enveloped at all. It's like there's little bits dripping onto his shoulders, but you've just sort of realized what's happening.
Okay. Is there anything solid, like the entire interior room is?
What you start to see is that there was the ruins, the like skeletal remains of a bar here, and this sludge thing sort of filled in the gaps. Like you feel little bits of broken, rotting wood pressing against your back as you are pressed against what remains of the real bar that was here many years ago. So there are bits of it. There's like a bit of maybe like an iron bracket on a wall where a lamp used to hang.
Okay. I guess first things first, I'm going to pull out the pistol that I have loaded with the ammunition given to me by Brace and fire it using a skirmish at the nearest one. I have 0 skirmish, so this is just
rolling 2 and taking the lesser, or you can push yourself.
Let's see how this first one goes. This is more just Varric panicking and throwing it out. Hey, that's double 6s.
Oh my gosh!
Yay, Varric.
Yeah, so this is a moment. So this sludge creature, sort of still humanoid in form, is slouching towards Aldo, reaching out with a large hand, and Aldo, you're like, wow, this might be it for me. This, like being hugged by a giant sludge monster to death, and you hear this bolt of a gunshot, and this bluish light emerges from it as it slices through the arm of this creature and strikes what remains of the wooden door next to your head and goes on through. The limb of the creature falls off, and the entire house shrieks. Both of you just feel this enormous noise. I'm going to the house is wounded and unhappy. I won't track this publicly with a clock, but I've got one going. So yeah, it sort of turns, and you feel Varric yourself. It's trying to grab hold of you. Obviously, you just roll a double 6, so I'm not going to give you a consequence. But it's wanting to grab you if it can. Aldo, what? Oh, go ahead, Varric.
You're going to yell, Aldo, help!
Okay. Okay, fantastic. The first thing, amidst all this, Aldo kind of checks down to kind of get the sense on his large ghost burn. Is it reacting at all being out here in the Lost District?
Yes, it was reacting more when you were outside, and if you were to step outside the house again, you're sort of insulated from direct ghost stuff at the moment, but it is still like actively pulsing.
Right.
You can like looking down, you can see like it actively glowing a bright blue under your shirt.
I see. Okay. But this is likely messed up other stuff that got left out here. Okay. Great. Although having this arm blown off is going to try to run to Varric and pull him out, like away from whatever's coming. I don't know how close he is, but as I run across, I'll intimate that as much by saying, Varric, I think we should run.
I agree. Yes.
Yeah, I think you could roll a skirmish to try and yank him out.
I was gonna say skirmish would probably be right, just because I think it's probably fighting through stuff as well.
Sure.
I'm guessing.
And Varric could aid by struggling himself.
I will aid. I will.
I'm
just a little struggling.
Drug dealing some stress, you guys. Take it.
You
Take
are
the stress.
so special. Okay, fantastic. Then I will roll 2 skirmish die.
Oh.
I got the 6.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, you're able to yank Varric out of this. The two of you are now, you like feel this muck dripping off of you, and it's like partially dripping and partially feels like it's crawling, like maybe trying to get in under your clothes. And now you are both up. You're both sort of inside the house, but nothing's like attached to you. The doorway is slowly starting to close in front of you, and a couple of figures are stepping in between you. What do you do?
Aldo's going to say to Varric, do you have it, the wrist? And he like elbows him really hard, like, give it to me.
I hand it over.
What does it look like?
Wrist?
Yeah.
So, do we need? Can we like flashback to when Varric asked this to get made? Have we seen this before?
No, I don't think so.
Can I flash back to happier times?
Yeah. Do it.
When
To
all the
happier
Varric
Here, let me change the music. No, I'm just
just after the run-in with Rufus Engim's guys with the power gloves, Varric would have approached Aldo in like, so you know how we almost got shocked to death by this?
Yes. I remember particularly Hix almost getting shocked to death.
Yes. I mean, I say we. I wasn't close, but do you think? Is there any way we could weaponize that ourselves? If you could come up with some sort of specialized, kind of hidden shocker, almost,
Like
for a single
thing. I think, and he digs around and pulls out what Bram had recovered. One of the gloves, I think, had been swiped, and kind of pokes around with it and looks at it for a minute and goes, something smaller, a little more discreet, perhaps. Something
Hide it
might
up the
look nice, for instance, on you. Make a little friends, and if someone becomes a little friendly, is this what you mean?
Yes, give him a little zzz. Yeah.
Ooh, yes, actually, it's a very good idea. Very good idea. I think I could make something here. And he immediately starts like rips off one of these capacitors, and like juice starts leaking out. And as he starts to basically fashion it into something that Varric would wear around his wrist.
Then
Wait.
back in present. Are you sure you can use this properly?
Give it to me. He just
Fine.
like grabs his arm and starts wrestling it off of him too. And my hope is to use it, but I want to make this desperate if I can by basically jacking up its power and kind of overloading it if we can.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna rip it off, and I'd like to turn this to desperate. Is this a tinker roll?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Desperate tinker roll, yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. I got the 6 and a 1.
Hey.
6.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Yeah, you sort of had to narrate to me how you So you've got this crackling with energy in your hand. You're sort of overloading it, overclocking it.
Yeah, so its normal purpose would be to be like a shocking grasp on somebody and would activate and basically just like wreck them with electricity.
Yeah.
And overloading it, I'm creating a circuitous loop that can't stop the power from essentially heating itself up to making a bit of a small bomb, as it were, of electroplasmic energy with a little bit of else. And so as it's getting hot in my hand, he's like, oh, fuck! And then he throws it off and blows it up in, hopefully, the door.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, you throw it at the door and it... You just watch as this electroplasmic energy crackles through this goo like thunder, like lightning inside a cloud, and it collapses, sort of paralyzed for the moment, and you're able to sprint out into the night and back out into this somewhat sunken street. Once you get with about 15 feet away from it, you can turn back and look at the house and see just sort of this slow-moving sludge that really is incapable of pursuing you unless it's able to lure you into a place where it's got a lot of power. So it sort of laps at the water confusedly and angrily, and you hear these sort of like screams of electric pain, very tiny from inside this thing.
Varric's going to hold up his other wrist, which has got some fine jewelry on it, and say, "You see what we did with just one of those? I have 4 of them on this arm, so you best stay back."
And Aldo grabs his shoulder like, come on, let's go. Enough of that.
So let me reintroduce you to the Lost District. Just giving the sense visually again of it. It is once again just brutally cold out here, and the water comes up to about mid-shin. So, and it's starting to try compete and try to get in through your boots and into your socks. As you step out into the darkness, you're struck with the visuals. These streets are flooded with icy water. There's flotsam and jetsam floating in the streets, and you actually see some fish swimming through the water sort of beneath you there. When you glimpse them, there's something really strange and rather like sort of intelligent about their eyes. Like they sort of look up at you a moment and then sort of hurry off through the water. The Lost District's brutal silence is broken frequently. There are cries of almost human voices that split the night. And you see, like you saw earlier, ghosts lifting up pieces of buildings and just dropping them, it seems, out of some sort of malevolent enjoyment. Just like you hear these crashes as rooftops are broken and more of these buildings are just shattered. Lifting your eyes a little more, you see the shattered remnants of a once charming seaside neighborhood, balconied houses and open markets that are collapsing into hollow echoes of themselves, paced only by pale ghosts. And adorning it all is ectoplasm, the stuff that makes up ghosts themselves. Imagine the cobwebs of a 50-foot tall spider draped over everything, creating its own mini architectures, spindly above like an archway of ectoplasm. In fact, the street before you, it has this archway of ectoplasm in between these normal buildings, so you sort of walk in this bluish glow of it above you. Aldo, and so Varric, as Aldo walks next to you, you see he is legitimately glowing. Like Aldo's chest, his shirt has become like translucent, and a bluish light emanates from it to the point where he's like practically one of the like that friggin' thing that Frodo holds in Shelob's lair. Like he's just like his own source of light, and you feel like the ache and discomfort of that energy flowing through you, Aldo.
Good.
So glad you brought us to this district on your wild goose chase.
It's not a wild goose chase. We're going to find what we need. As he like bravely strides forward, I assume. Are we still lost? Are we on that clock?
Yeah, let's you can make a roll to see if you can. You're 3 out of 6 what you need on this clock of finding your way.
I'll stop and turn to Varric. Which way?
You're the expert. We're looking for your white gate, aren't we? On a hill. That looks up. Like, are we surrounded by buildings?
There's some buildings around you, and there's a sort of ectoplasmic canopy above you. That's a little strange, but if you could with a survey or study roll attempt to find the hill.
We move to the top of a building. Perhaps we can see further.
Right.
You.
Perhaps one that isn't being actively dismantled?
Yes.
Is there somewhere nearby we can just climb up?
Yeah, you can climb
Oh,
up the
sorry,
side.
Varric, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I was just gonna say if we need to study or survey to see if there's a.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do a study, whichever you prefer.
All right. Well, study the nearest buildings to see if any of them are not. I cannot see very much with a 3 and a 2.
Nice. We're gonna move you 1 tick up, so you're at 4 out of 6 now, and I'm going to put for your consequence. I'm going to put a tick into the midwife's lullaby.
The midwife? Oh my gosh.
And so what you start to hear a strange noise. This like it's pretty subtle. It starts with just like sort of like slow sigh that passes over the district, but it gets echoed by other noises. There's these strange voices that are semi-human crying out in the dark that seem to echo along with it. Meanwhile, let's jump over to Hix, the girl, and Bardia. Well, maybe a good moment of that is Varric and Aldo, you're trying to climb up, but there's all this electroplasm, which is like cold to the touch. And so it's hard to climb up and find the right thing. So you just like sort of keep walking forward along the street. But above you, you see, instead of constellations, there are dark clouds, and beneath them, constellations of roving ghosts flying in the atmosphere above you. The three of you, Hix, the girl, and Bardia, you also see these constellations of ghosts above you. All of you previously fell into the water, became temporarily almost submerged in the frigid water. So I'm going to have all of you make a resistance roll, or not. I'm not going to force you to make a resistance roll. Either you take a harm, which is hypothermic, or make a resistance roll to resist it. What would you like to do?
I'll resist. And what do I roll for that?
Let's say it's prowess, insight, and resolve. Let's say resolve.
Okay.
I'll be resisting as well.
5.
Okay, so you take a stress, but you're able to shake off the cold, maybe like wring some of the cold water out of it. Bardia,
A
how'd you do?
6 for Bardia.
Okay, you're fine. And then
Cool as a
Benjamin?
cucumber.
5.
Okay, 5. So 1 stress. So you're all able to resist.
You were the one screaming. You were like freaking us out. Like screaming is normal for you. It makes you feel better. It makes everyone around you feel bad.
He looks like a toddler, like just out of the bath, and he's saying, "I'm sorry for my outburst earlier. I feel much better, thank you."
All good. Where are we going?
This way. I'll step up onto dry. What are we? We're still on the door.
You've gotten your way. So the door was sort of brought forward, and you found about like enough sort of flotsam and jetsam that like there's a little like a bridge of just junk. So the wrong step could land you in water again. But for now, it's like as long as you're watching your way, it's probably going to be all right. You just watched previously as Bardia summoned a ghost to him and commanded it to go in the direction of the hilltop. Right. And so there's this trail of electroplasmic energy that is weaving through this place. I think you have a couple more ticks on the clock to fill, but if you want to do a prowl just to follow as stealthily as you can through the neighborhood, one person could do it on behalf of the whole group.
Yeah, I'll prowl.
Right.
Oh. Can I aid somehow with that? Or I guess, can I aid in a group action? Probably not, huh?
I do not remember. I think
I would guess not if you're participating as part of the group, right?
Normally a group action is everyone rolls the action, and for every failure, the leader takes a stress. So let's go ahead.
I mean, it's your call. What do we need to do? Yeah, I mean, she can roll on our behalf, I guess.
Let's have Hix and Bardia both roll prowl as well. You can push yourselves if you want.
Double 6s for Bardia.
Woo!
God.
I'm hot tonight.
I rolled a 6.
Okay, great.
I rolled a 3.
Okay, so the girl takes 1 stress. I'm curious what the moment looks like of
I'm
what is.
breathing deeply. Very, very deeply and somewhat noisily. It must be.
Hix, can you just quiet down a little bit? God.
Yes, you're ruining our approach.
My apologies.
You all ascend through the district and find your way up to. You're able to see the hill. So your clock is finished, and you've risen up the hill towards the mansions that are on top of it. Are there any anything that you discuss or conversations as you're heading through the Lost District together? Or is it pretty still? No, go ahead, Carl.
I think trying to be as quiet as possible and still prowling, I'd probably turn to Bardia. And once we get there, you're prepared for a ceremony of some kind. You have the materials you need.
Yes, we will perform the lantern and gate ritual. I will prepare a rune of passage upon which I will begin the ritual. The ritual can be continued by others, but it is necessary that at least one person be standing upon the rune. Therefore, getting to a place of safety will be important, somewhere we can settle down and spend the 12 hours.
Right. I mean, we're missing Aldo and Varric. Should we... Hix?
We should see if we can find them. We can spend a little bit of time to find them.
Okay.
And then, we'll find
You're rising up on they're long stairs that lead up towards the hill. You can tell there are these medians where there used to be beautiful gardens. There used to be this really lovely ascent with all these stops for different gardens and patios and markets. And so you're actually at a vantage point where you could, with some ease, survey and try and find them, study or survey.
Oh.
Great. I shall. I will survey.
I'll aid.
Great. I will take 3 dice.
Nice.
And that is a 6.
Okay. You're
Teamwork.
able to. By what method do you? You've maybe seen them in some distance. You create something to draw them, a light. Do you call out for them? What's the method?
So, yeah. So I guess that we're I don't know, managed to climb up and get a vantage point or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it would be ill-advised to cry out to them, but perhaps, I mean, I would ask Bardia. I would defer to Bardia. Bardia.
Yeah, you hear Bardia like noisily breathing next to your ear. Perhaps over in that ravine. And I'll, help you. When we spot them, I'm going to pull out an arcane implement from my equipment.
Yes.
And what I'd like to do, if you're all right with it, Ted, is create, maybe calling on one of the ghosts that Bardia has trapped. Yeah. So the arcane implement in this case will be, we'll call it a pressed flower inside of a little, pocket-sized book. Maybe the book is nursery rhymes. And he'll open it up, stroke the flower, and with the voice of maybe a young boy who is the ghost trapped in the flower will speak directly into their minds. Do you want me to roll for it?
Of course I'm in for that. No, we don't need to roll for that. It's too cool. Just whatever. You did it.
Part of my, I believe, strange methods, I think, is the special.
Strange indeed, sir.
So in this little boy's voice, let's say, Varric, you hear, "Oi, we're standing over on that hill. Here come, sir. The man in the cloak would like you to come over on that hill. Look northeast."
Aldo, I'm hearing voices.
Like waving.
Do I hear them too?
On the hill, northeast.
I think just Varric. Varric heard it. No.
It's a.
What are they saying?
Are you searching for a little boy?
No. Where is it telling you? What is it? What is it telling you?
It's
The
saying things to me.
Magos. The Magos is waiting for you, sir, on the hill.
The Magos is waiting on the hill, in the northeast.
And then Aldo's gonna just like go toward that direction, if that's what he's saying.
Following with.
Come on, let's go.
You're just listening to what the ghost says?
Yes, I'm listening to what the ghost says. Come on, let's go.
Oh, good. Perfectly good. Fine, yes. Sure.
He says it's quite safe.
Oh, yes, and I'm going to believe you.
What was that?
It said it's quite safe, which fills me with assurance.
Sure it will be. Come on.
Can I have my wrist shocker back?
Oh no, that's destroyed. Sorry. You can buy another one.
You made that?
Yes, and this time it's going to cost.
There's the stairs that you find are sort of collapsed over with some fallen debris of a house that some of these ghosts were dropping down some time ago. So there's like roof tiles that are sort of strewn across it. So you have to sort of clamber up, and there's a little bit of noise that you make as you head up the stairs. But eventually you reach the group on this sort of higher landing, about 2/3 way of your way up the hill.
Hello, all.
I see my message did not go awry.
Oh, that was you. It was your little boy in my head.
I'm sorry, I thought it was clear.
Sorry, what?
Doesn't
I
matter.
sent a messenger to them. One of my companions.
Got some child's voice whispering in my mind, telling me to follow it.
Yes, that ghost I found on a midwinter's eve some years ago. Quite useful.
It's not still with me, is it?
No.
Okay.
He's here. And I'll hold up the book with the pressed flower in it.
Does it
Much better.
live there? It's inside of it.
Oh, yes.
Is it
Much safer than the ghost roaming the city, wouldn't you say?
Yes. Is it in pain? Is it?
No.
Do you have more?
Oh, yes. If you're prepared, I think we should proceed to a place where we can safely perform the ritual. I'm glad to see you're safe.
We have discovered that there are not safe like bars to go into. Don't trust like an inn that you come across.
Y'all went to a bar?
Surely no one's dumb enough to enter a bar thinking it's safe in the Lost District.
Listen, it's very stressful out here, all right? And you all just fucked off into the mist without a word.
He tried to lie to them.
Sorry, what? The bar did?
No. Varric tried to lie to the bar, to the building, to the
Yes.
people inside. They became the building. It was horrifying.
You must be very cunning to have escaped such a threat. I'm impressed.
Thank you. It was quite impressive what I did.
What's cunning to me is that you spoke to a structure and convinced it to leave you be. truly
Just
cunning indeed.
Shaking his head, watching this, kind of relishing in this moment.
And Bardia, you hear a little bit more than everyone else, just a little out over the canals, and you see like you see a bunch of these sunken streets and a little bit of lightning wall light illuminated on them, and you see more tide than usual rushing in on the far borders of the Lost District.
Does each of those moans sort of pulse in my chest as well?
No,
Curious.
it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't.
Great.
Yeah, you don't feel that. Yeah, in your chest.
It's nothing different.
I think that perhaps we should move quickly.
Yes.
I agree.
You head up the
Yeah.
stairs. So rising out of these flooded streets into this ascent. Some of these stairs now there are cracks in them through which ectoplasm flows like a stream. You reach the top after about another 20 minutes. The top of this hilltop, where a weight this more sort of landscaped area, less dense architecture. There's a score of strewn about mansions, each sort of in the area around you. Once this place must have been a fierce competition of curated gardens and graceful topiaries, and now it's a few graying hillocks of scrub grass and twisted trees. These are 3 and 4 stories high, overgrown with reddish moss. You see, even in the distance, emaciated figures just sort of pacing over the grounds, looking for all the world like servants of working on the grounds, but much slower and sort of staggering as they pace over the landscape. There, you also pass one of the mansions you see at some distance is aglow, and as you sort of pass by it on the road, you hear these wails and shrieks as these ghosts are battling each other inside this space. And you see a ghost that's thrown out of the window, sort of tumbles slow motion through the air. 3 other ghosts that dive at it and begin devouring it. These ghosts are clearly have lost their humanity, but are sort of chewing on the ectoplasm, and the ones who get the more bites they take, the more empowered and full of ectoplasm they become. They don't see you. They're wrapped in their own activities. Aldo and the girl, within a few moments of walking between these elegant mansions, you begin to sense a sort of familiarity, and you're drawn down a long gravel driveway lined with long dead cypresses towards an opulent manor. The garden that extends from its great doors to the edge of the hill is familiar, as is the willow at the far end of that garden.
Aldo takes off straight away, is walking as fast as he can, turning straight up to that willow.
The girl has sort of the opposite reaction and is just frozen in place for a few moments.
We must make sure to secure the area and that it is safe. The more interruptions that we experience, the harder it will be to keep the ritual stable.
Mm-hmm.
You reach the willow, Aldo, and very soon as you're arriving, you realize that the image that you have seen in your dreams is nothing like the reality. The willow in your dreams was green and still alive, and as was the grass beneath your feet. Now you have a familiar sensation from the Deathlands where the grass sort of tried to grip onto your boots as you walked, and you feel that again in the grass on these lawns, that they seem to be trying to take hold of you. You reach the willow, and it is this utterly ruinous thing. Only a few strands hang from it still, and there's a vista out. You're able to see the whole Lost District below you and the lightning wall, and sort of vaguely beyond the lightning wall, you're able to see the Palace of White Crown in the distance, and you're now, you realize, in exactly the same position where you were in many of your dreams.
This is where it was. He yells down the Bardia. I've been here. I've seen this place.
Yes, quietly now. And I'll approach if it seems safe.
Yeah, you get up to the garden and you see, Bardia, that there's this willow tree, and then there's a large sort of more curated garden. These paths, these beds that used to be full of flowers, which are now just sort of a mess of destroyed land. And then there's this little wall and a very faded painted gate that lies broken on one hinge, and then beyond it, that leads towards the house itself.
I suppose this is the ceremonial gate that was made by the believers. You said you saw this place in a vision of some kind?
Yes, I've seen it before. I've tried to go back. It was not quite a vision, more of a... I was here.
I see.
I was walking.
Perhaps you're more familiar with this process than I figured.
More familiar? I barely know anything. I haven't been able to go back.
Well, and I'll kind of beckon to the others, say, I do think if we can find a place of relative safety, it would be good to begin.
Right.
We can
I'll
scoot around the perimeter.
Yeah. Let's survey it.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, Hix or Varric, who's going to do it?
I mean, I'm happy to help you. How you do with that?
I don't know. I was going to also. I wanted to look for something different anyway. So if you want to look for something useful, I'm going to look for anything that might have the Leviathan blood barrels.
You go first. Please, sir.
Pay for that.
You first. I mean, I'd be down to help, maybe, but if you're not going to tell me.
Being secretive.
That's a 4.
Okay. You are able to get a bit of the lay of the land. This outcropping where this garden is particularly vulnerable. There's no wall that protects it. Its protection back in the day was simply the fact that it had this big cliff on the edge of it, essentially. Those reinforced with some stone walls at the base. But there are ghosts floating not 100 meters out in the air, sort of looking around hungrily. They could easily come for you if you were to make the ritual here. You do see that the house itself, much of it is boarded up, but the door that faces the gate is open and a white curtain billows in it. There's also, you see, like some, a number of doors and entrances into the mansion that certainly could lead you to where these private manors might have stored Leviathan oil, though you don't get any particular sense of it exactly. I'm also going to finish. No, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to say I'm not finishing that clock yet. You
like
just
a torturer selecting a tool. Like
Roll that history.
tongs, not the tongs this time. Perhaps.
The oblong serration.
Yeah.
Yes.
What you see is there are, as you'd seen these emaciated figures before, as you're sort of pacing around the manor sort of quickly, you see that there's probably a half dozen of these figures, just humanoid, sort of blackish skinned, like sort of the color of ash, with decaying clothing, sort of looking in your direction with these sort of haunted glowing eyes, and they seem to be aware and are maybe even slowly, ever so slowly, moving towards you, towards the house in general.
Bardia is pulling gear out of a satchel. One thing he pulls is kind of a long, tall sack that's filled with some kind of powder and tied off at the top. He pulls out a candle, like a 4-inch diameter candle, clunk, sets it on the ground.
Aldo, sorry.
I don't know if we want to stay here exactly. This feels like a dangerous spot.
Yes, we want to prevent any interruption.
How far can we be and have the ritual still work?
I think within sight will still benefit us. Of course, the closer we can be, I think the stronger the connection.
We should do it here then.
I think I'll go check out the doorway into the house with the billowing sheet.
Yeah, you step inside, and it's a large double door. You could open the other one, but you step inside, and there are fallen leaves over the ground, this beautiful marble, and as your eyes adjust to the light, you see that you're in the ballroom of this mansion. There are 2 curving stairways that move up, and doorways into other areas. It's very dark in here and very quiet. There are several mirrors along the walls, ornate, gilded, and this appears
I think
to be
I'd probably ask the girl to help me check it out, to perhaps aid me in a survey role if possible.
Yeah, I'll aid.
Great. I rolled double 6s.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
Thank you for the aid.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Teamwork works.
So I'm gonna, so we're going to, you're basically gonna explore this whole place. You get a sense of it. Maybe you're able to even light a few candles and get just a little bit of light in here, enough that you're not gonna be visible from the outside. There's all these thick curtains closed in the area, but you light up and see this rather beautiful and melancholy home that, as you see more of the artifacts inside it, it becomes clear that this was a place of people who cared about the occult. It's not sort of a frightening ritual site, but more of a full of loving homages. The mirrors are like carved with patterns of ghosts, but they sort of have this lovely sense to them of like playing liars, and they're represented as friends and not as enemies. And the girl, as you're lighting this up, you go into a couple other parts of the house. You also, with this critical, you find that there is a cellar leading down into the basement where the Leviathan oil would be kept. It's probably pretty deep in there, but you'd have to go a little deeper to get it. And the girl, as you're passing by one of these mirrors, you see a face in the mirror that is not your own, that is next to your own. It is a ghostly face, very faded, and almost, most ghosts have this sort of bright bluish haze. This one is graying, and as Lyran, the ghost, looks out at you through the mirror, you see that this is not the sort of generally handsome man that you had seen in your visions. This is a haggard, barely existing creature. Like his whole bottom jaw is essentially missing, and he's just a little scraggle of hair descends. He looks skeletal within the mirror, and he says, "Come,
Byron, is it you?"
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you see me as I have become.
I've come for the information you promised. How do I find it?
And then he fades from the mirror, and then as you turn, he's in another mirror, one of the others in the hall. There's 5 or 6 mirrors in this room, and he's in one of the other ones, and he says,
I run to it.
"Yes, I have little power left. I've spent almost all of it giving you those visions. If you perform the ritual, we can bring enough power here to bring me back to greater on life and to give you all the answers you seek."
Is Barty aware of this?
That's up to Hix and the girl.
I guess this is when you're going through the house, but without us, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
I think we
I don't
split
think I
up.
would have. Yeah, I don't think I would
I
have.
think you
run
saw
back
that,
yet.
and I was scoping something else.
Yeah.
Okay. And the ritual, it'll bring you back. You promise. You promise your intentions are good.
I don't. I will not be brought back for long. I do not have long. I've spent too much, but it will give me enough strength to give you the answers you need to help the people. You have what you need. The ritual, yes.
Yes, we have someone who knows how to perform it.
Good.
And as I watch him falling apart in front of me, I think the girl is sensing the urgency of the situation, and is going to find Hix and run to where Bardia is setting up. Bardia, how soon can this ritual be done?
We can begin presently. Where should we contain ourselves?
Into the house. The house seems fine. Yes, Hix, fine?
Mm-hmm. Let's go. Seems perfect.
You can see through the window, perhaps. Barricade the door.
Yes, a balcony would suit.
Balcony? We can do
Or
that?
somewhere overlooking the garden.
Sure.
Aldo,
right,
if you want to stay by the tree, feel free.
I'll turn to Aldo and say, you must be more cautious. You are far too eager.
I'm here
Temper your obsession. I see you staring.
Can we start already? Then fine, if you want to do this inside, but let's get fucking started.
I
I
agree.
need your help. Come.
Let's go.
Yeah, so I'll bring the gear that I had in that wagon, or at least as much as I can carry, up to like a second story.
There's if you could, there is a balcony on the second story. You could also, there's like the double doors have new like large windows through which you could be on the floor of the ballroom and set up the whole sigil there and be able to see from there.
Great. Ballroom sounds perfect.
Great.
Bardia takes the long sack and starts pouring out what looks like sea salt in a very, very thin, very careful circle, about 12 feet in diameter. So it makes almost a complete circle. And then right at the doorway, kind of facing where we're looking through, there's a break in the circle so that it perfectly resembles the symbol on the girl's neck. And then he lights the enormous candle and begins to draw the symbol of the rune of passage. Now, the rune of passage, Ted, do you have a thought about like what it needs to be? Does it need to just be drawn? Can I do it with chalk?
Yeah, chalk would be good. Yeah,
perfect.
I think in order to do this really precisely, we should get a roll of some kind. I think this could be, someone could bring you in. We could do it to tinker. You could do it as a tune, however you want to.
Yeah. So I think normally it says. So rituals operate on study. Does that sound okay?
That sounds great. Yeah, I think that's perfect.
Yeah. If anyone else wants to help out.
Mating.
Did you say call it?
I said all it.
Okay. So Bardia will hand you a book and say, read this as I transcribe.
Okay.
Yep. So they're busy at work doing this. Go ahead and make our roll. Let's see how it goes.
Okay. That is 6.
Right. Yeah. You're able to prepare the ritual with no issues. If anyone, I'm going to create a clock which was preparing the house, and I think with that critical success from Hix, I'm going to make that a 6-part clock and put 4 ticks in it, so that we've essentially finished it. Because you have such a good sense of what's going on, you're able to bar a bunch of doorways. But if you wanted to really like barricade this and make sure it's safe from anything else that might come in, we could take another roll to do that if we wanted to.
I mean, I feel like we need to be moving, so I think I'm going to set up in the most, like, what seems to be the most defensible position to me.
Yeah, probably
be like letting them do the arcane stuff, and I am just sort of like keeping watch at they're not zombies, but they sound like zombies.
The zombie
keeping watch on them, and like out the door over the cliff where the ghosts are just like floating, and just like keeping an eye out. That's what I'm doing while they're working.
You also have electroplasmic bullets, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay, good.
And I think I'd find Varric. I'd be like, Varric, these people have a cellar where I believe that there's Leviathan oil down there.
All right. This won't be a waste after all.
No waste. So we get this thing set up, and perhaps we do our watch of the sigil, and when we're off watch, we go down and we scope it out.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So let's make a clock, an 8-part clock called the Lantern and Gate. This is the ritual, so we'll be having a few rolls to see how, just making sure that the ritual is maintained. What does it look like as the ritual begins, Graham?
I'll say, anyone who wishes to participate, please draw closer. It can be an arduous ritual, and any extra help will be greatly appreciated. I don't know that I can hold my fortitude for the entire thing. As I said, I have only read of this.
Aldo's looking right at the girl.
The girl steps forward, looking right at Aldo.
2 helpers then? No more?
Do I have to help the whole time? Do you think it might be useful to have someone watching your back?
Only those who participate in the ritual will gain the ghost knowledge you seek. If you seek no knowledge, then you may be more use outside the circle.
Also, for the
So-
major duration of the ritual, only one person has to be actively doing it at a time. So you could step in, participate for an hour, step out, and do whatever. So like you don't have to be there doing it the whole time.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm gonna keep watch. I don't need to know anything. I don't need to know anything. The dead can stay dead. I'm doing good here in the land of the flesh, of the meat. Thank you.
Yes, someone should enjoy it.
Yeah. Varric will kind of look at the girl and go, if you desperately need someone to tag in, I can, but I'd also rather stay out of the circle for the time being.
I mean, I don't think you'll be necessary if you don't want to be. I think we can do it. And she'll nod to Aldo bitterly.
Yep, accepted.
I'll place the palm of my 7-fingered hand upon the tome and say, this page contains the instructions necessary. If something should happen to me, you can finish the ritual. Trust in this text. It is performed in 3 shifts of 4 hours each. The first shift will require the candle wax to be dripped upon the sigil. And when that step is complete, we will move on to the second part, during which we must drip something that holds salt water and refill it at regular enough intervals that it will never stop, making a continuous pour. That may be the most challenging, as I've only brought a small amount of salt water. However, we do have quite a considerable store nearby. And he gives a bit of a half smile. The third section of the ritual will be another 4-hour stint, during which 9 candles must be lit at the edge of the circle and words spoken to the room. The words are this passage here, and I'll, point at it with my finger. There are references in these books. Is it true, Ted, that maybe not all of the words are in one place?
Yeah, there are lots of different, like it's less that there's a correct text and more that there are texts in the correct spirit that can be spoken.
Maybe several volumes and color coordinated bookmarks or, like little areas marked so that you can easily find them, hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, shall we begin?
Yes.
Yes, as soon as possible.
Very good.
Now,
Will you light the candle, please?
I'll light it, I'll grab it and take a match, strike it.
Okay, once there's like a little well of liquid wax in the top, I will begin to pour it on the sigil.
Yeah, and it's the ideal of the ritual is that it's this slow drip, dum, 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 to the point where like it's so quiet in this manner for a while that like you all are just hearing the dum, dum, dum of this wax on the sigil, and absolutely nothing happens. There is no spirit manifestation. There's no particle effects. There's nothing fancy. It is just this slow drip. It is very simple. The ritual begins. Let's make our first attune roll, or whichever roll you think appropriate for. Okay. Oh, there's also probably a moment, Bardia, where a rat like appears out of some hole and comes near to the edge of the circle.
Keep the creature away. It must not enter.
Aldo's gonna snatch that thing like it is a hot dog, and I am starving.
Is he gonna eat it?
No, he's gonna break
You
its
had
neck.
us in the first half.
Yeah.
No, he breaks its neck instantly.
Gotcha. Yeah. No roll required.
Chucks it to the side and looks back at Bardia.
So the other rule of the ritual is that nothing can cross the line. The only way anything can enter into the ritual circle is through that opening, and if anything else enters it, it will severely disrupt the ritual, and enough disruption will break the ritual entirely and force it to start over from the beginning.
Okay.
All right.
Does that include like ghostly spirits can't cross the line either?
Spirits can also not cross the line.
Right.
Anything, yeah.
Okay.
Anything, yeah.
All right, shall I attune?
Yes,
Wow.
do it.
5.
Okay. The first 3 hours pass in utter boredom. You're just sitting here looking at the candle. There's maybe the candle looks big enough that you don't have to like switch it out to have the right rhythm or anything. But I don't know exactly what the girl and Aldo are doing. If you're watching closely or studying what's happening, or what is your do you have any specific things you're doing?
At about 2.5 hours as we're sitting in here watching this thing drip. Are we inside the circle, all three of us?
You can be.
I mean, I figured I would, and if the girl, you decide you're somewhere else, but I think Aldo would say, thank you for helping.
Not doing this for you, Aldo.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. What are you doing it for then?
Promised information.
Information. Yes.
Not about your theory, Aldo, about my past. And I want to know. I think it's time that I know.
About my theory. Should my information prove true, what will you do?
I just don't know why I should care about missing children in Duskwall, where people go missing all the time. I have my people that I care about. I have my people that I need to support and make sure they're safe.
I had mine too. I had mine, the people I was supposed to support and take care of. And you know what? I wasn't there for them, and they fucking went missing, died, murdered.
They died. I don't know what you expect from this.
To make sure it doesn't happen again, at least to do something to try to make it right. These people that do this, they will continue to do this. I don't understand how you can turn a blind eye to this, especially one such as you, knows nothing about yourself.
Dare you? I was a hurt child. No one helped me, Aldo.
And so it's okay for you to just write off the rest of them.
Yes.
Fucking despicable. When
That's
this is
how you
over,
feel. Yes?
I hope you
When this
find
is
your
over?
information. Whatever I find out, I'll be sure not to include you.
Great. I hope you don't.
Aldo does not leave the circle, though. It's going to be real awkward in here for Bardia.
The girl
does
also
not
doesn't leave the circle, but is sort of pacing as far as she can get in the perimeters of 12 feet, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Aldo sees you pacing 12 feet and goes, it's not very far, is it?
No, it is not.
Oh, just like...
Does Bardia respond to this in any way?
After a long, awkward silence of drip, 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 Bardia says, we should try not to have too much discord within the circle.
It's like
Cool if you
glowing
said that
blue-
earlier.
Yeah.
That's really good.
We do not wish to manifest any malice.
Wait for that.
So you
Do
rolled
I overhear this?
Oh.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm...
Your call.
Well, I feel like maybe a half hour in of it being boring and nothing happening, I would have gone to Varric and I would have been like, let's go.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So the two of you head down into the basement. There's a long stair that goes down into the pitch black darkness. How do you light your way?
I have a light. I have a little electroplasmic hand lantern.
Perfect.
marking it in my loadout. I've got that in one hand and my piece in the other hand. Now, are these single shot breech pistols? Is that kind of what we decided, or in our world, is it something else?
I think they're probably single shot. Yeah, I think that
Great.
makes the most sense. Yeah.
Great. One shot. Great.
You know,
Yep.
I'm going to hunt. And I guess I'm just going to lead the way since I'm the one with the intel.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hunt and search down in this place for the oil.
I will aid.
Love it.
As I'm with you.
Yeah, let's make the roll.
That is a 4.
Okay, great. So I've also remembered that Graham, you rolled a partial success. I'm holding on to that partial success.
Great.
So it's weighing all my tools here. So Hix and Varric, you head down into this deep basement. It's a lot of like sort of this pretty plain brick, it's not super beautiful or adorned. There is a point where you see like a mural that someone painted way back in the day. The paint is faded and cracked, and actually is supposed to be a representation of the house on the hilltop and the garden. Like, it looks like it might have been lovely once, but the painting has gone almost exactly the way that the garden has gone, just in terms of becoming sort of frightening in its vision. You head down into an even deeper place. You hear that you're in a larger chamber, and you hear something whimpering. A dog.
Okay. It's just a dog.
Varric's gun is pointed sort of at the direction of the sound.
I'm like, be cool. It's just a dog. It's just a regular dog. It's probably not a regular dog. Let's plan on it being a non-regular dog.
Hence
So
the gun.
Okay. Oh, fuck. Okay, I mean, I don't want to make a lot of noise, though.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm with you, Varric. Whatever you want to do, take the lead. I'm with you.
All right. I would like to study the sound to see if I can like hone in on exactly where it's coming from.
Great. Yeah.
I'm also listening and aiding you with one die.
All right.
Great.
All right. That is a 5.
Okay. As you get closer, you get this. Hix sweeps his lantern, his electroplasmic lamp over it, and it's just a narrow enough light that you can never get the whole room. It's like never illuminating the whole room. It's just giving you sort of a beam of it at one time. There are 2 enormous tanks that probably could hold hundreds of gallons each. These are each of these tanks is a little bit bigger than the one in the ones in the Orcus Tooth. And as you get closer, you see that they both have these lids on them. One of the lids is sort of corroded and fallen through. You see it drip from the ceiling that probably rusted it and then fell through. And the noise of the whimpering is coming from inside one of the tanks.
Why do you think get some extras? Thanks, you friend.
Hey, what's up? I'm back. Let's not do the whimpering one.
You're frozen with fear for a second there.
You're damn right I am, but we're operating here. Okay, I want to mark off 2 load and include some sort of way of transporting this Leviathan oil. I don't know if it was like a bunch of like plastic jugs in a backpack or something.
Yeah. I think it's like, I think 2 load could totally get you enough to have like 8-10 gallons of this even distributed between you. If you wanted to take a stress for a flashback and do an acquire asset roll, you could have a wagon and get 20-30 gallons.
Oh.
Depends how much of a hurry we need to leave in.
I mean, I don't know. This is what I came with.
Yeah, I'm.
This is my due diligence for the company.
Great.
Yeah, I'm. Having been operating on the pretense of coming to help his friends, Varric probably wouldn't have pushed to bring a wagon. But
Sure. Yeah.
I'll also sacrifice some load to have like containers.
Yeah, sure. So as the two of you start loading up, you like gingerly lift this lid from, or maybe there's like an opening that can be like slid open on it, and you can just like there's a bucket or something next to it. It's not like this wasn't the normal use. There's probably pipes that fed it places, but for less specific work, this is openable, and you find like this bubbling black Leviathan oil inside it, and you're able to start sort of sloshing some of it. I think as part of we've rolled a couple imperfect things here. There's probably a moment where one of you and it sort of rings throughout the place. You might even hear it upstairs a tiny bit, just like a ding, like a little bell. And the thing, the whimpering thing down in the other tank goes and and you hear these smacks against the side of it as it is like, you get the sense that it might be trying to scrabble up the inside of the tank.
Oh, okay. I'm going to stand ready. I'm going to take a breath and stand ready with my pistol at the opening of the way that we opened the tank. I'm going to be kind of eyeballing that.
Yes.
And while Varric's filling his back, assuming that mine are full,
sure,
I got it on my back.
Uh-huh.
Great.
Yeah, we can make another roll to gather the rest of this if we want.
Let's see. What do you got,
Let's
Varric?
keep
What do you
gathering.
want? What do you want to offer for this?
For an action or just?
I mean, you got any like finesse or something that might work for?
I got 3 finesse, so I think that's
Great. I will aid you.
That's
all right.
great. That's
Yeah.
good.
And yeah,
It's a 4 dice.
It's 4 dice. First time.
this is really important.
2 6s though. It's a 4 though. It is a 4. So
It's 4. We'll take it. Thank God.
Yeah,
Thank God for the aid.
Yeah, 4 is fine. Yeah, so you're filling this up. It's like so subtle. It's so subtle. We're getting like near the end of like we're probably near, like, you've been doing this for a while, like a bit of exploring to get down here. Like we're probably nearing the end of the hour 4 of the first portion of this thing. You're able to get the rest of the oil up, and as you're getting the last of it, this scrabbling, it's like gone a little quiet for a while. It's gone back to whimpering, like a dog that doesn't have friends, and it like you, and finally as you're like getting the last jug of it, like your arm is maybe like you've got like you're up to the elbow in it because you're having to reach deeper and deeper down into it in order to get enough, and the rusted part of this sort of cracks open as this paw of this wretched looking dog comes out, and this like black soaked in Leviathan oil. It is literally a little dog. I mean, not like little, it's probably 2 feet tall, weighs like maybe 40 pounds, but is sort of standing there shaking and whimpering at you a little bit, and sort of walks towards Hix.
I blast its ass. I get right up near it and I fucking blast it. And I do not even hesitate. I want to sacrifice position for effect.
Yes, do it.
And so I have the Daredevil special ability.
Yes.
So when I roll a desperate action, I get plus a dice.
Amazing.
As long as I take 1 fewer die, avoiding any resisting any consequences.
Okay, right. I love it. I love it.
Oh my gosh.
Rolling hunt, and that is double 6s.
Oh my gosh. Incredible.
My aim is true. If nothing else, my aim is true.
Yep. So, Varric, you're like looking back. You like see this dog that has just come up, and Hix just goes, boom, and blasts off half of this dog's head. The eye splatters. It is all black blood that splashes against the tank, and the thing just sort of staggers a little bit, slouches back, and falls onto the ground.
Let's go.
Yeah, all right.
And as you are stepping away, you see the mouth of this thing open, and it opens and opens and opens until it just snaps, and this black, like another head of another black dog, comes out of the inside of this little gruesome thing. It's got 6 eyes, like, and all these, and it's just like dripping this viscous stuff. It is a fucking mess. It is this ruined creature. Like, it barely is staggering out, but it's going to leap after you. And Varric, I'm going to have you make a resistance roll against a level 2 harm.
Oh my God.
Or you could choose not to make a level 2 harm, but it grabs onto your leg with these huge jaws. Do you want to make a resistance? Sorry, I keep telling you to take resistance.
I am definitely resisting that. Is that going to be, that'll be a prowess resistance probably, or?
Yes, prowess resistance, and you'll only be able to reduce this to a level 1 harm in the process. It's still level 2 harm.
Okay, all right. 4.
Okay. So you take 2
stress.
stress, and you take level 1 harm, which is demonic wound (parentheses leg).
All right.
Well termed. Well termed.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So this will affect, just to be specific, this will affect your prowl rolls. This will affect skirmishes, and will affect attuning.
Okay.
So reduced effect of all of those things.
Good. Reduced effect on my 0 skirmish. Will be fun with my pistol.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so you feel its jaws clamp on your thigh, rip at your trousers, and yeah, you sort of maybe collapse to the cobblestone steps as Hix is there behind in front of you.
Shoot it again! Shoot it again!
I will do so.
Amazing. Yeah, it's like writhing.
What's the position of this?
This is risky. You could push it to desperate.
I mean,
because it's so wounded. Like,
hurt.
it's not desperate yet because you really have nearly destroyed this thing. It is just like in its last wrathful
okay,
throes.
I'll push it, Ted. I mean, twist my arm.
Yeah.
I'll push it to desperate. Great.
Push
I
it.
run up to it, just like, I don't know, try to point blank blast this thing, and I rolled a 5.
Okay. Yeah. Great. So yeah, this the creature grips, like you run towards it and blast it, or
That
you're
was a
standing...
wreck roll, FYI. That was a
Okay.
wreck.
Awesome. Yeah. So sorry. Describe again what you're physically trying to do.
I am running up, and I am not really. I want to just like put my weapon right on where it seems most vulnerable. It seems the headish area. Are the 6 eyes on stalks, or are they like on
they're
a
all. It's
bulbous
like
thingamajig?
normal place where a dog's eyes are, but they're 3 in a row instead of just 1.
Great. Right in tween them, if
Yeah.
possible.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So you go in for this hit, and the thing at the same time leaps up towards you on its shattered legs and it grips onto your torso. You're gonna have 2 things that you can resist. One is they're both one is a level 2 harm, which is like it gripping onto your chest and just like another demonic wound, or the other one is that you will become absolutely drenched in toxic Leviathan blood. Which will be its own level of harm. Just level 1.
Drenched in toxic Leviathan blood. What does that mean? Can you tell me what that means?
Yeah, so
or is it a fun surprise for later?
No. So yeah, one, it would have a corrosive continuous effect. So like future consequences might depend on it. But also it'll be a harm that will reduce the effect of your like any social rolls you would make, as well as
No.
really prowl. Yeah.
Not that. Okay. So lay it out for me again. So I can either choose a level 2 demonic bite.
Yep, level 2 demonic bite, or this. You can actually. According to the rules, you can resist both of them. Resisting the demonic bite will only reduce it to level 1, so you're going to get that harm no matter what. You could resist the other one as well.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to, since the corrosive Leviathan blood is only level 1 harm, I will I will use the last of my load to have armor.
Yeah.
To expend my armor. It just sort of like gets on this huge, my nice feather winter coat, and just burns it into like a scary goop. And the demonic bite, I think I'll resist the old-fashioned way with a little bit of stress.
Okay, great.
So that's prowess, you reckon?
Yes, prowess.
Great. Give me one moment. And that is a 6.
Okay, so you take no stress from that. You take level 1 harm, so it's just brought down from 2 to 1. So you have demonic wound chest. This will. I'm gonna ask your help to help me remember this for this particular session because I just don't have my second screen with me. But this will particularly affect, since it's chest. I think it will affect wreck and skirmish. And is there another one you think is appropriate that it would make harder?
Any other roles you intend to use?
I don't know, Ted. Are you asking me to give you something? I'll think about it. I mean, can you tell me a little bit more about what demonic wound is? Is it Is it just a flesh wound, or is there some sort of like psychic component to the demon?
You immediately, both of you in these wounds feel, one, it's just like these big black teeth made out of like pure black oil energy crap. So it's just like the wound of this teeth ripping into you, but also it's left behind little bits of Leviathan oil in you that immediately burn and feel quite toxic and strange.
Oh, okay, so it's merely superficial.
It's a wound, and then the Leviathan oil might have continued corrosive effects. Like you'll sort of start to you'll have minor hallucinations, like seeing things that like flame out of the corner of your eye.
Okay, well in that case, I mean, it seems like perhaps it might affect.
Like survey.
I'll let you know. I'll think about it. I'll keep it in mind. It's an exciting wound.
Yeah, cool. All right, so both of you. So the thing finally collapses. And like its body begins to melt, like into the stones, leaving behind these strange bones.
Slam that door shut.
Yeah, we're out of here. Great. Yeah. Upstairs again, right, Ted?
If there's any like push in front of that door to like block it. I know it's dead, but just like
you because I'm not sure.
Get a big armoire. Yeah, right in front of the door. Yeah, so it's
all good. I'm like getting dapped from Derek.
Well done, Hix. I also shot. I shot a demon earlier too.
Yeah, it's been a weird day.
Yeah. So let's. We now have to move on to the second step of the ritual. Also, there's a question of whether we've got about a half hour, maybe a little bit more. Do we want a bio break for a second to that and then come back?
Yeah,
Kristin?
Sure.
Yes, let's do it. Let's take 5 and come back.
Okay.
Great.
So thank you all. As we get back to the ritual sort of reaching its apex, we'll see what happens next. Okay. Thank you all. we return to the ritual of the lantern and gate. Varric and Hix have just ascended from the basement, both of them wounded with demonic wounds, but holding tons of gallons of Leviathan oil. They walk back in to find. We're gonna say that we've moved forward even more. Who has done the second part of the ritual with the saltwater drip? It's also a sort of slow drip.
This one seems like it presents a real challenge, which is that we need to basically draw up as much as we can, and it doesn't have to be. Well, I mean, 4 hours of a continuous slow pour.
It's not a pour. It's a drip as well. So it's
it's the same drip.
Like,
okay,
in like a cheesecloth or something, like something that's going to drip slowly. Yeah.
Ooh, cheesecloth. I like the way you think. Okay, so
my
I probably
cheesecloth
did
at
bring enough then.
Yeah, you probably did. Yeah, you probably have
Okay,
enough.
got like a glass canister with one of those tops where you it's got the clip.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Spongy material to seal it.
Mm-hmm.
Open up and say, and we'll begin the trip. Would someone else like to spell me? No pun intended.
I'll do it.
And Bardia will laugh.
I don't.
At my pun. Okay, and I'll hand you the seawater.
Yep. So you're now holding it. And you want to make a roll?
Sure.
Girl, on this is actually, you know what, there's not really like a skill roll here. We're just gonna roll a fortune roll.
Okay.
So as this is going on for some time. Oh, you roll very well. So there's absolutely no hitches that happen in this, but I'm gonna go back to that roll that Bardia made a while ago and say that while you were holding the candle, you heard a little bit louder the and if any of you had bothered to go out onto the hill, maybe even for just a moment to get a little bit of breath, you would have seen something sort of impossible. The sea level is at the same level as it normally is, but if you look out onto the district below, you'd see that it is flooding with the ocean. And so as the 8th hour of the ritual comes to a close, it is actually starting to, there's some sunlight through deep clouds. So it's not very bright, but there's just a little bit of brightness. You see that the water has reached to about 10 feet below the hill. It's risen 70, 80 feet. There is an ocean outside the window of this, and the entire Lost District is flooded. The rest of Duskfall is not. Even if you look outside the lightning wall, you see that the water is significantly lower. It's sort of this, you can't even tell what's real at the moment, but this water is ascending, and these sounds are sort of coming closer of this.
Yeah, so Bardia will have exited the circle in the little gap that exists, gone out to the door for a moment, wipe his brow, and look out and see. Oh my, my. I'll call to the others. Can anyone come see this and verify my eyes?
Limp
yes.
over. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You'll also have noticed Aldo shoots himself up again. Just in general, at about hour 6 or 7.
Yeah, nice.
You're seeing what I'm seeing? That the flooding of the district has begun?
Yeah, looks that way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. I fear she may be coming for us.
Well, it's a good thing that we're on very high ground. We chose the hill. Perhaps we'll be fine. We carry on with the ritual. We get the power that you spoke about, and then we will all get out of here just fine. Fuck off. Yes, thank you, Varric. Well said.
Who? You said she may be coming.
Yes, the midwife.
Who? Is there a baby coming?
Oh, I don't know. I certainly hope not. You've heard of gods? Well, the midwife is something like that. Something cruelly similar to that, yes.
But you can fend her off, right?
I can try to convince her to leave us alone.
All right.
What do you
As
saying,
this
Bardia?
discussion, you'll go ahead. Hix,
Yeah,
go.
is there something that we need to do differently, Bardia, to prepare for this?
We just
pack
need
this
to.
in right now and leave? Do we need to do that?
No. We should ensure that nothing enters the circle.
So would that include water?
Yes. We'll need to keep the water out. The salt must stay in place.
Great.
I'm afraid
we'll do that.
I cannot hasten the process.
So the water continues to rise. We're going to start a clock, which is waters rise, which is going to be an 8-part clock. We're going to start a 4-part clock, which is finish the ritual. So anyone who would like to we'll put 1 tick into waters rise just for the fun of it. You now can anyone who's involved in the ritual can hasten it through an attune action to get us through our last portion where you're reading this text.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try and help the ritual along.
Great.
So I roll. Okay. So I'll roll for a tune.
Yeah, roll a tune.
That is a 5.
Okay. So we're gonna put 1 tick into Waters Rise. It starts to get up to the point where it's like lapping at the roots of the willow.
It's at this moment here, real quick, that
yeah.
Aldo kind of like, if it's just like the girl and him for a minute, kind of chuckles to himself and starts laughing.
I know what's so funny.
I just put it together.
What?
You lie so much to everybody else. You lie to yourself. It makes sense.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about the fact that you could give up so easily. These families, these people you say to support, what makes them so different from the others who are just like you? You're lying to yourself.
We all do what we have to survive.
Right. And you're surviving pretty well now, aren't you?
I'm surviving just fine, thank you very much. Not
Right.
all of us can be so fucking noble.
If you only knew. If you only fucking knew.
The girl is like razor focused on, are we still dripping water or are we?
This conversation is happening in between the others of you reading the texts out of these books.
I think like Aldo says this, the girl takes the book and is like, my turn to read, and then starts reading as a way of getting, out of the conversation with him.
Great.
Yeah.
He'll let that go. No,
Yeah.
for now.
And now that the ritual has entered its 3rd phase, you start to feel pulsing spirit energy. All of you start to feel it. It's like being knocked over your feet by a tide. No. You feel it there. Yes. No, it is. Yeah, you feel it there. Yeah, I'm sorry. I make the tide metaphor, but it's not midwife energy. It's ghost energy. So you feel, and there's this like bluish haze that starts to surround the circle. 8 hours of work, and finally you're actually seeing something happen. You feel also ghosts in the area are starting to be drawn to this place, and Lyran appears at the edge of the circle, like a little bit more formulated, holding his hand up as if he's like pressing it into the glass of something, but not stepping beyond the barrier. And he says, "You can do it. We can do this." And he looks at Aldo intently. So you're a 2 of 4 in the finish the ritual clock.
I'll be right back. Bardia exits the circle through the gap. Hold fast. I'll return shortly. I would like to slink upstairs, if I may.
Okay.
And do you think a study would be sufficient for me to look around the house for objects that might belong to Lyran?
Sure. Yeah, I think that'd be all right.
6.
Okay. Yeah. You find an old mirror. There's a silver mirror hidden. It's very tarnished. The silver's become quite damaged in the meantime. You're hearing the song of the midwife sort of rising as the water's rising around you. But yeah, you find his mirror. And yeah, it's got a name engraved on the back. Yeah.
Is it like a hand mirror?
Yeah, hand mirror.
Okay, I'll pick it up, blow some dust off of it, look it over. His name's engraved in it. What's the last name?
Graymeyer.
Graymeyer. I'll tuck it into my robe and then quickly head downstairs.
Okay.
Hopefully not having missed out on too much.
Sure. Yeah, as you have been out there, Hix and Varric, you see out in the water shapes beginning to move in the water itself. There are you see that along like the side of the willow tree, which is still sort of being drowned a little bit. There are clams and mussels climbing up the side of it, and sort of everything that the water's leaving behind these creatures as if they're sort of crawling towards the house. Yeah, let's make a roll. Let's get this ritual.
I'll go.
Aldo. I know him.
Yes, I will make an attune roll to try to finish.
I will aid.
Oh, great. Teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
I will also push myself.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's say yes.
Your call.
No.
That's for a devil's bargain. Talk to the devil.
I need. No, I've been talking to the devil all night. He's
whoa.
right here. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm just
no.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
She demon.
Ooh. It's a double
sixes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the waters are reaching up to the steps here, and suddenly the ritual hardens around the space, and you are surrounded by this like suddenly solid ritual power. Bardia, are you inside the circle again?
Yes, I've returned it.
Okay.
That's all right.
So now you have all looked at probably the paper by now, or have they? Like, do they know about the key, or do you know about the you have the
help me out.
So
you
the final step of the ritual is very vague and is referred to as the key. It implies that a sacrifice must be made. To spare the sort of the vague ambiguities, this is what's going to happen. You now have access to the White Gate and any information you want to know that can be observed. You cannot gain thoughts from someone that haven't been expressed, like there's no mind reading in the information of the White Gate. But the key is a 6-part clock, and this is the rules for the 6-part clock. If you take a level 1 harm, it'll bring it up a tick. If you take a level 2 harm, it will bring up a tick. If you take a permanent harm of some kind, like something that will last after this, it won't affect your rolls after this. You take a harm that's temporary that you can heal, and you also remove a dot from one of your skills. You can fill in another thing. You will also be able to use this ability to ask additional questions to the White Gates.
Which ability? The take a harm?
Taking a harm and a dot out of one of your.
And that's a package deal.
Package deal.
But you can ask another question.
You can ask another question.
You son of a...
And wait, if you do that, it adds a tick.
Yeah.
No, so
the
the tick will get you to the point where you get one question.
Okay.
Then, in addition, after that, you can spend additional harm and dots in order to access additional questions.
What in the heavens? Okay.
Yes.
Fine.
I love this.
All right, who's first?
I am. Okay, so Ted, give us the scene, and how do I ask this question?
Yeah, so you are now, the rune of passage has now opened up beneath you. And as you reach out toward Girl, you are suddenly transported. You are somewhere else. You are standing in a small dinghy floating on the ocean. There's like crashing bluish waves around you. You're standing in front of a glacier. The glacier is made of all this bluish ice, except there is this white triangle, a white gate into the dark of the glacier. You now know instinctively that you can suffer harm, and you don't like cause, you're not cutting yourself, you're just offering it, and the ritual will take it. You give whatever harm it will give you, and you can use that as a key. Aldo, you find yourself standing on a shoreline of this like very like small scrubby little island out in the middle of nowhere, and there's a tiny little wall of stones, and there's a few stones maybe a few inches tall stacked on each other, creating a small gap, a small white gate. And Bardia, you find yourself on a ship. You are strewn all about you are dismembered corpses, and in the middle of the ship there are two enormous piles of salt right next to each other, a white gate. You are realizing that you are all witnessing multiple versions of this ritual that have been done throughout time, and multiple versions of the white gate.
What do we see, Hix
Yeah.
and Varric, looking at them?
We're just like we're just shooting the shit. I'm just like
That water looks really cold. It's
I know, man. And my coat got eaten.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
The energy strikes both of you as well, and you find yourself transported to different versions of the white gate. Varric, you
What?
find
I
yourself.
didn't want this.
You don't.
Go on.
It's what
Go
it is.
on,
Is
I'm
it's-
there.
It's at a distance. So like you see you're standing outside like on a street outside a brothel, and in like the far distance you see a window high up in a balcony with two white curtains, another white gate. So basically it's trying to call you into the circle to give something to it, but it is totally your call.
I'll just see that. I'll see that, and I'll turn back to Varric and say, "I'm tripping right now.
It's that bite.
I'm tripping balls because over there is a white gate. How are you?
I got curtains for me, man. It's curtains.
I know, man.
Yep, you're seeing your own version of the white gate, Varric. So yeah, anyone who wishes to step into the circle may participate in opening it and performing the ritual. So first, we need a minimum of 6 harms or taken out dots from skills in order to get you up to this to break open the gate.
Okay, I'll take 1 harm and a dot.
From?
You make me choose right now. Can I,
Take it right now.
can I choose? Well, I mean, I just don't want to think too much.
Yeah, no, I understand. You can get it by the end of the session. That's fine.
But the brand new one I just put into rec. Oh my god.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'll take 2 level 1 harms. Can I lose a special ability as a dot? Or just
Yeah, I'll allow that. Yeah.
It's even more expensive. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah, that
What
is.
ability are you losing?
I'll lose Infiltrator.
Okay. Oh, that's one where all locks are the same to you.
No, that's the one where wait, that is the one. Wait, no, that's not the one I want.
So good. I was like,
Oh.
I can make locks useful again.
I'll lose Ambush.
Okay. So we'll say with the 2 of those sacrifices, Bardia, do you want to do anything towards the?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. What will you do?
I'll,
We're gonna fill up the key clock. No question.
yeah, is it just 1 left or how many?
Because when you take harm and reduce a thing, it's 3, so it's already full. But you'll have to put in something in order to make to
Yes,
get a
of
question of your
course.
own answered.
I'll take harm.
Oh.
Okay.
I will also take a step. I'm going to assume I'm standing at the opens and take a step backwards into the circle and take a level 1 harm, which pushes me into a level 2 harm, but I think
Okay.
that just counts as level 1. I want the minimum amount.
Yeah. The minimum amount. You're in the circle. Yeah, you get
Yeah.
1 question for that. Yep.
Hix is like, all right, I'm alone now.
Let me ask you this, Ted. If I wanted to do something other than ask a question, if I wanted to say sever a certain connection,
Yes.
would that take more than harm?
I think you'd have to remove a dot as well.
Okay, I'll remove a dot from sway.
Okay. All right. So let's start with the girl. What physical harm do you experience? What happens to you?
I think as I feel like this call to give my hurt to the ritual, the back of my neck maybe blazes like white hot and bruises appear around my neck. Maybe even, like choking.
Stranglehold.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. And everyone, you're able, like in the flashes in between what you're seeing, you're able to see this happening to the girl. The entire house is becoming this maelstrom of energy. And you, girl, you're feeling this pain, feeling strangled, and then a hand tenderly takes yours. And Lyran steps with you into another space. He is now fully dressed. He is now like back to his sort of full self, and he reaches out gently. He doesn't touch your neck, but touches your cheek and says, "Does it hurt very much?"
Not so bad.
This strange echo. Let me show you. What do you want to know? Ask me the question.
You told me my name, Lyran. I want my name.
Yes. Come with me. You are now down in the low levels of the Lost District. In one of these houses. You are now in the past. There are lamp lights, gas lights all over the place, and you see the lightning wall is at the far distance where it used to be is flickering. This is the eve of this event. This is the eve of the destruction of the Lost District. There is a house, and you sort of flicker back and forth between the present and it. You see this broken table where only the legs are left on the ground in the present, and then you're back in the past, and there's this trap door. You head down into the trap door, and you hear chanting. You see people gathered in a circle for another ritual, and you see a woman who you know is your mother, holding her hands around your neck.
Oh.
This group is chanting around her. All of them are slicing at your body with knives, letting out little bits of blood, little drops of blood. And they say, "She will be our power. She will have the strength of the ghost field within her. She will carry the mark of the queen." And you see them branding into the back of this child's neck this tattoo. And you see in this moment, as these people are trying to imbue you with ghost power, you see a man, one of the men in the group, weeping. Your father steps forward and grabs at your mother and rips you away, desperately trying to get you out of the group of this people. He's able to surprise them enough. He pulls you away, this child. He wraps you up and is running. People, someone slashes at him with a knife, and you see it run through his calf, and you see muscle and blood as it just pours out of his leg. He's staggering up the ladder, getting out of the place. Suddenly there's crowds all around. He takes the table which he has disassembled and is out on the raft, trying to take you across back into the district. And he says, "Kai," he holds you and says, Kai, you have to survive. Please. And he's got these wounds on his back. He's bleeding. He's dripping blood onto you, and he collapses into the water, and you continue moving on this raft out among all of these lanterns, all of these people. And after a moment, a rocking as a huge boat comes by, you tumble into the water. You're sinking into the water with this heavy blanket around you, and a single ghostly hand lifts you, pulls the blanket from you, and pushes you towards the surface. And you see the face of Lyran in the water.
I've been observing this as my adult self, like seeing this scene in front of me. I think I turn to the second Lyran that has led me here and just say, I wanted to know that they loved me. I guess one of them did. Kaya fell.
They both loved you in that twisted way. Her twisted way. She did too. She dreamed of the power you could possess, of the way you could shape the city and its future, the way you could save them and their friends. It was a cruel love. And yes, his love was purer. I'm sorry. This is not the answer you wished you had sought.
It's not. She has.
You're able
nothing.
to. Sorry, yeah, you're able to.
Yeah.
Just if you find yourself able to sort of turn back the clock on this and find any moment. I mean, you can step back into the ritual chamber where this is happening if there's anything you want to observe again or understand better.
Oh, I mean, I appreciate you giving me this option, but I think the girl is too shocked to do it. But I do think that she remembers the faces of the people, that those are burned into her memory.
Yeah, all the people in the circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kai, then.
Yes,
Kai is the name you called you.
thank you. And does she return to the White Gate at that point, or?
If she desires to, yeah. Once she's, yeah.
Yeah, I think she does.
Yeah.
May I, as I sense that their moment is finishing, is it too impossible for me? Because I haven't entered the White Gate yet, right?
Yeah, you have not, no.
I'd love to pull out the mirror
Okay.
and from my load tick off let's see, sorry, why don't we call it how is a ghost key?
Yeah.
And it's just like a little electroplasmic casing that I will set the mirror upon and speak the name Lyran quite simply and attempt to draw his spirit into the mirror.
Right. Yeah. I think unless there's a rule that you just get to do it, do you think an attune would be appropriate for that?
Yeah, I think that's either attune or or study. This is part of my strange methods.
Yeah, methods. Cool. Yeah. Go ahead and roll on attune. You could push yourself for increased effect or make it desperate for increased effect, whatever you want to do.
Let's see. Yeah, if we're going for, we might as well go for max effect. So I will push myself.
Yeah.
Because he talked about being brought back to greater strength. Is that right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this will be 4 dice. That is a 6.
Okay. So yeah, it's kind of this heartbreaking moment actually. He's standing in front of the girl and you see tears running down his face. And you reach out towards him with the mirror, and he sort of uncertainly reaches out a hand, and as his fingers touch the surface of the mirror, he is yanked inside the mirror and disappears within it.
What did you do? What did you just do?
He is contained for now. And I will, with a hand sort of showing that I don't mean any harm, hand the mirror to you.
I'll take it and I'll try and find him in the mirror. Can I?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the
Graham, your
nature
call.
the nature of this implement is that you can call upon him and his knowledge. You can speak with him. You can have anything, I guess, within Ted's limits that he had. Like you absorb him basically as long as you possess it.
So I'll try and, like, Lyran, are you there?
You see it at first, this nothing, and you're sort of moving it around. You see eventually his silhouette, but he doesn't appear to be looking at you at first. He just, for now, he seems unable to understand what has happened. He still has these tears running down his face and sort of looking around at this prison in which he's being held, and just looks perplexed and uncertain.
You freakish man! What did you imprisoned him in some mirror?
An uncontained ghost is most dangerous.
He was helping us.
Yes, and he will continue to help you. He spoke of being revitalized, brought back. These are not natural processes.
Lyran, can you hear me? Lyran!
But he doesn't seem to find you yet. He's still finding his way within it.
In time, you'll learn to call on him.
I would love, if it's all right with you, Graham, to shove Bardia.
Okay. Bardia is shoved outside of the circle and steps over the salt line.
No.
No. Sorry.
Perfect.
The waves outside that are lapping against the glass windows. We're going to make sure that anyone who is going to ask a question gets this moment before this moment happens. So that will have happened at this point.
I just ruined everything, Ted.
We'll get that at the beginning of next session. But the gate ripples, and there's an uncertainty, and you see these ghosts sort of descending from outside all around the mansion, and the waves roil and turn up, and this huge thing covered in mussels and clamshells sort of opens up its maw, and this fills your ears, and that is where we will end our session for tonight. Baby! Wow. So yeah, that's basically what we all expected, right? I guess. Okay. So we will return and get our moments of what just preceded these other questions that were asked to the White Gate before we come back next session. But that is where we're ending for tonight, because we're doing a slightly shortened session. Thank you all. Wow, that feels wild. It feels wild. But thank you for being a part of it. How are we feeling?
Good.
Carson looks so sad.
Amazing. I mean, Carson looks sad.
Yes. It's the 2 hour session limit. I know, it's so terrible.
We'll play again tomorrow night, though, so it'll be okay.
Play again tomorrow night. Yeah, same bet channel. So, all right. Thank you for watching Ghostlight RPGs, for being there for these haunted souls. There are some other shows on Ghostlight RPGs you can watch. There's Animon Stories, which is on what night of the week? Fridays. We've got Moonshade tomorrow. No, not Moonshade tomorrow.
Yep, Moonshade's on break for a little while, I get to sleep.
Yes. Graham will sleep. He'll finally rest. Let's. Do we have a raid that we want to go on?
I hadn't even looked.
Yeah, I didn't think about it either.
We've been focused on what? On this secret spilling session. Good grief.
Yeah.
This has been amazing.
Oh, wow. Yeah, crazy.
Hicks's secrets are all intact. Y'all can spill it. Aldo and Varric can spill them next session, and I'll just keep guard.
Oh, man.
Okay, that sounds good, right?
Yeah, Total Party Chill is where we're gonna head.
Yes, some friends of the channel. Let's see what they're streaming. They are. Ooh, they're streaming Forged in the Dark. Look at that.
Cool.
Ah,
Sweet.
Cool.
Awesome.
Ah, no, that is a good transition. Okay.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Yes,
Thank
thank you all
you.
so much for tuning in. We will see you next week with the thrilling continuation of whatever just happened. Looking forward to it all. Goodbye. Good night.
Bye.
night.